So the cookbook is completely written and edited. All photographs have been taken and added. We're just waiting on the cover art, which should be done by the time it's available for publication in 9 days. Oh, that's cutting it close. Well, the photos would have taken less time if someone hadn't kept eating all the props. Hey, I left enough for you to work with. Besides, aren't you going to cheat with stock photos anyway? Only for some of them. Hey guys, I found this phone while clearing tables. Ew, iPhone. We'll keep it behind the register until they return for it. In this day and age, they won't get far. Oh my god, remember when they first came out with the flip phones and it felt like living in a sci-fi novel? Oh, such cute little gizmos. Yeah, and I leave it in the other room for 5 minutes and it's like losing an arm. Hey, I think I left my phone here. It's an iPhone 16. Right here, buddy. Need anything else? No, and maybe next time you won't try to steal a customer's phone. What? You heard me. Why would I want to steal your phone? I have a perfectly functional one. Who knows why people do stupid things? You're calling me stupid? If we were trying to steal your phone, wouldn't I be doing a lot more to cover it up, like refusing to give it to you, misdirecting you, or straight up having a human or dragon or someone else up here who can lie to you about that? Well, I certainly didn't leave it behind. Except you did. It was a mistake. Those happen. People leave all sorts of things behind here. Phones, wallets, books, bags. Oh, sure, they just happened to leave their valuables behind on your watch. I'm on to you. Whatever. Next, Bob's wrapping up her break. What was that about? You know, I wish I could blame technology for that kind of brain rot, but people have always been that stupid. Well, thank you so much for helping me shop for essentials and moving them into my new apartment. This would have gone on much longer without you. Best part about being a dragon, the moving furniture muscles. Why rent a truck when you can rent a dragon? I'm just impressed that we found a whole-ass bed frame for under $200 and a brand new mattress for $50. JC, what the fuck? How did you do that? And you just gotta know people who run certain businesses that may or may not be fronts for illegal activity. Did we just financially support the mob? Better than supporting Bezos. I know that JC just found you a whole bunch of cookware that I also think we shouldn't look too closely at. That's just from Goodwill, okay? Just wash it 2 or 3 times, you'll be fine. But I'm up for ordering pizza. Up for pizza? That's half the reason I agreed to do this. Was the other half watching me figure out that the easiest way to get the hulking bed frame up 3 floors to this apartment was to actually put it on the roof and push it down 4 flights of stairs? I may be aced, but yes, that was very sexy. I'll call for delivery. Great, I think if we all pitch in $5... Oh no, you're not paying for squat. This is my treat. No way, you were literally homeless last week and just spent half of your remaining savings on basic necessities, and you haven't even gone grocery shopping yet. But I have coupons, so it's fine. I am Venmoing you my share. Well, you can't do that because I don't even know what that is. Then I'm calling Bob to tell her to put $5 from my tips to yours. Don't you dare. Where do we stand on this? Agree with Oscar treating us and then sneak a couple of $10 bills in his coat pocket. Ah. So I'm going to be DMing this campaign starting up in January, and it's kind of intimidating because they're all adults. I mean, I know I'm an adult now, but that's like a recent development. I'm pretty sure Patrick's the youngest, and he's almost 100 years old. And I don't want to goof it up, but using one of those tried and true campaigns like Curse of Strahd kind of feels like cheating, you know? Like wearing training wheels to a race. Well, you know, there's nothing wrong with using the tried and true method. You know, they're a bunch of immortals or otherwise long-lived people centuries old, so they're not expecting the 18-year-old to dazzle them here, alright? If anything, it sounds like they want you to use the training wheels on them, so that when you start doing this type of thing with people who haven't been playing Dungeons & Dragons since it's been invented, you're the equivalent of the immortal Fey being, who's already seen it all. I guess. And I know it's just my ADHD making me overthink everything. Heck, I mean, with Patrick and Cyrus alone, I could throw them all in an empty room and we'd have a full 5-hour session of chaos. See, nothing to worry about. Also, you're having me come here twice as often as usual. I'm not upset or anything, I just want to know what's up. What's up is that there were 2 serial killers operating in this forest for months if not years, and I didn't do anything because I'm only powerful enough to protect the stream, so I've got to step it up to cover more ground to prevent that type of thing from happening again. Sphinx, you tore out a man's eyeball. Yeah, and there were 2 of them. I couldn't go to the second one fast enough. The Wild Hunt had to step in. Fair enough. Although if I'm going to be here, might as well collect a few riddles. I do love those sessions where the players have to solve some sort of puzzle instead of just murder hoboing their way around. You got any good ones today? Oh, do I? Good morning, welcome to CaFae Latte. Today's specials are the caramel apple latte and pumpkin smoothie, one of which is in the cookbook that's coming out real quick. Oh, I know, darling. I helped JC with a few of those recipes for a big stack of coupons, including the Southern Sweet Tea and Apple Crumble, for which I would build a temple in your honor, if I was any good at architecture or carpentry. You redeeming the coupons now? No, she gave them to the boys at the fire station. Is that where all those came from? I thought we were getting an odd amount of firefighters and EMTs here. No complaining, of course, it was just abnormal. I keep telling them the coffee and food here is much better than the sugared sludge they get from the Starbucks close to the station. But none of them believe me. Oh my lord, I can't stand Starbucks, not even when they first got started. And then they were suddenly everywhere in the 90s. I say this as a Southern woman. Putting a gallon of sugar in something don't automatically make it better. In fact, I can help whoever's next. I want to wait all day for the geezers. I think you're the one who needs help. Pardon? I can tell from that little pride pin on your jacket that you've fallen for the devil's latest scheme. You know, the queer people stole the rainbow from God. Oh, Jesus, one of these. Buddy, you can't use the Bible to justify being a bigot. That book says that you shouldn't wear two different types of fabric, women could be sold into marriage for a bit of livestock, and that slavery is okay. You gonna be preaching all that too? Times change, but the word of God remains true. When was the last time you spoke to Jesus? I mean, there's a guy named Jesus who works at the Mexican place down the street. I went there last week, but he's still working on his English. I'm just trying to be a good Christian and save you from an eternity of torment. Men are destined to serve God one way and women another. To stray from that path is to walk with the devil. I'm sure any true Christian would agree. Oh no, I can't say that I... You know, if someone comes across a sinner, a good Christian should pray for them. That's the most powerful weapon in our arsenal. Thank you. I'll pray for God to open you to compassion and away from sin. Oscar, honey, could you hand me that pen? What? Well, you're discriminating against one of God's children, which goes directly against his orders to judge not and to be a good neighbor. Thank you, darling. What's your name? You don't have to pray for me. Besides, it says right in Leviticus 18:22, you shall not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination. Yes, even the devil can quote scripture, but that don't mean he understands it. Don't worry, baby. I'll pray for you anyway. Well, shit, that was some fighting fire with fire. Well, I'm glad you got a kick out of it, but I am actually going to be praying for that woman. I should do that too. May I have that pen back? You look familiar, darling. Do you go to our church? Oh, I go to any church that claims to actually feed and clothe those who need it. I'm not denominational or picky. In fact, there's a synagogue I often go to on Friday nights. The rabbi's drashes are a hoot. But I think I've done to yours a few times. I've seen your face around. The Unitarian Church on Washington? That's us. Been going there almost 3 years now. Oh, really? Stereotypes have failed me again. I thought you two would be Baptists. Oh, we are. When we moved to Minnesota 5 years ago, the first thing we did was find a Baptist church similar to the one we had in Mississippi. They're a bit scarce around here, but we found one in town all the same. The pastor at the time was a fine gentleman. I'm sure he had his opinions about the queer community, but he kept them out of his preaching and focused solely on helping his flock find spiritual peace. After about a year, though, he retired. And stayed retired, unlike a certain gentleman I could name. I have a wide variety of skills, but quitting ain't one of them. Well, who's in a rush to go die in a retirement home? Anyway, the new pastor that they got, well, he was a young buck. Not that we minded that too much. We all got to start somewhere. But he had all the arrogance of youth and none of the compassion or curiosity. He came roaring in with his gay is the devil's work and women ought to be subservient to their husbands. When I tell you how hard I laughed at that one, I still remember the day the Supreme Court let you have a credit card. Lord, that made my life so much easier. So, of course, plenty of people left, mostly the women, and that really annoyed the pastor and elders because guess who were the ones scheduling and running all the functions? Oh, see, you're supposed to do all the invisible domestic labor and not bitch about it. That's the trick. Yeah, she never did master that one. Anyway, we considered staying to fight and maybe turn that young pastor's view around or petition for a new one, but we decided our own spiritual health and family came first. Our babies are adults now, 2 of them with babies of their own, and when they visit, we often go to church together. And we want that church to be a place where everyone's comfortable and welcome, especially now that our granddaughter came out just last year as lesbian. Well, she came out last year, but let's just say the closet she came out of, it don't have a door. Now, I was surprised. Honey, she never had posters of boys in her room, only girl celebrities, and she spent all of elementary and middle school saying how she wished she was a boy so she could date girls because they were so pretty. Well, yeah, you are. That's just a fact. I always feel bad for the straight woman having to deal with our bullshit. So, as the non-binary trans person in the room, I feel like I should ask, is there any other reason she said she wished she was a boy? Because that's sometimes an indication that there is a coming out as trans conversation about to happen. Apparently she did experiment a little with her friends, cutting her hair short and put it on boys' clothes and whatnot. Stole my jacket. She kept the clothes and still keeps her hair short, but apparently the boy names and pronouns and whatnot just didn't fit. Neither did the non-binary ones. So as far as she and everyone else knows, she's just a classic tomboy lesbian. And let me tell you, she hits every stereotype. Like I said, no door on that closet. Well, yeah, of course she kept the clothes. The pockets alone. Honestly, who has not a few gay thoughts every now and then? It happens to all of us. Exactly. I only get attracted to people when I've known them a while, and I've only ever been with women, but there's been more than one gentleman where I've been a little sad that they're straight. Exactly. To say nothing of what goes on in boot camp and military life when you're young, dumb, and single and getting shot at every other week. No, they're not ready for that conversation yet. Yarn Granny's husband said that. Yep, he did. To Oscar, who seemed to agree. And you didn't nudge it along? If they were being hurtful bigots or unhappy with themselves, then I would have pushed it. I'm just bringing it up to you because, as a fellow queer under the bi-pan umbrella, we might be able to drop our own experiences like breadcrumbs and let them fill in the blanks from there. Good idea. And he does have a point, especially about being in the military where you could die at any given moment. Which is another reason I didn't push. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert in their lives. What I'm going to do is pop the muffins in the oven. Oh, are those the ones in the cookbook? Oh yeah, we've got blueberry and dragonfire in there. Dragonfire? Those black bread ones with the spices? I toned it down for the sake of the 99% of the population that aren't dragons and don't snack on ghost peppers like popcorn, but the thing about recipes is you can always fiddle with them. Fair enough. Good afternoon. How can I help you? Why would you ask me that? Do you think I'm stupid? No, you just looked like you were looking for something. Well, I was looking for... Sorry, I didn't catch that. I was looking for someone who could speak English. I'm speaking English? Well, how was I supposed to know that? I want to make a complaint to your manager. Very well. Bob, can you come out here, please? I'm struggling to understand. What is your complaint about exactly? She assumed I was stupid. And you assumed that someone working the front end of an American coffee shop in the heartland of the United States could not speak English just because she's Arabic. I'd say her assumption was closer to reality than yours. Now go before I decide to curse you with the inability to speak English. Maybe I shouldn't work so much overtime. Excuse me? Yes, how can I help you? You're really going to do this sitting down? Well, unless you need me to reach for something like one of those pastries over there, I don't see a reason to stand up at the moment. I need to give the old bones a rest now and then if I'm going to make it through the shift. It's unprofessional. No, it's healthy, and most jobs can be done sitting down just fine. It's the principle of the matter. If you're on the clock, you should be working. You can't expect people to work for hours on end without taking a break. You'll drive them straight into the ground. Then maybe you shouldn't be working. Unfortunately, everyone needs to work to keep the roof over their heads. Lucky for me, I enjoy staying busy. Then get on your damn feet. Silence. I don't think that's ever going to get old. It rarely does. I should curse you with the inability to sit anywhere from 8 to 12 hours a day, but that's classified as torture. So instead, you will be unable to speak to any blue-collar staff until you respect them and their need for rest while on the clock. Now, would you like something to drink? And they're gone. Does that curse extend to writing? No, that's why I've indulged in it so much since the rise of literacy. They can still be a pain, but now they have to put more effort into it. How fares your new apartment? Oh, it's just lovely. Lindsay and Nicole both gave me some charms to keep it safe and ensure the AC and heater never conk out on me. And JC, Raythu, and Cyrus all helped me get furniture from thrift stores and Goodwill and the like, and one very shady mattress store that may have been a front for the mob, but they were nice enough to JC, and the mattress is very comfy for a thief's bargain, so I'm not going to complain. I think I want to pad up my savings a little more before I start looking into decorations. The place is a little bland and soulless at the moment, and a friend of mine's getting a new television and they're giving me the old one. Excellent. I'm very glad to hear it. Thanks again for that blessing. I'm sure I'd have been fine without it, but it sure is a load off my shoulders. I don't like the idea of my people living in uncertainty. Do let us know if any issues arise. Will do.